Welcome to Almost Heaven, Always Us. I'm Corey.
I'm Kelsey.
And today we're excited because a lot of people have been asking that we do a video about cryptids. So not only are we doing that, but we also have our first ever interview, and we'll be interviewing someone who knows a thing or two about cryptids.
Yes, Jeremy Maddox of the Thrifty Mountaineer, which is where I got this really cool hoodie.
And you can find the Thrifty Mountaineer if you live in Morgantown or near Morgantown on the mall road. Go up toward the mall and turn right at the stoplight that has the Bigfoot.
Yes.
I hope you enjoy the interview. So here he is, the Thrifty Mountaineer himself, Jeremy Maddox.
Hi.
And a man of many business ventures. Let's see, you got the Thrifty Mountaineer shop, you do financial coaching, you do notary work,
Yes.
run multiple social medias.
Yes.
For yourself and others. I'm probably forgetting some stuff, but you do wedding ceremonies,
We do the weddings.
but not just any wedding ceremony.
We do weddings dressed up as Bigfoot. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's just different. We figure that people like to go to Vegas to get married by Elvis, so why not come to West Virginia and get married by Bigfoot? So we put on a suit and we changed all the vowels around, to make it more Bigfoot and West Virginia centered, and it's a lot of fun. So
Have you got to do a few of those?
we have, and I've got a couple scheduled throughout the year this year, and then at the Bigfoot Festival this summer we'll do a bunch
At
of
the
them.
Bigfoot Festival. Wow, that's
Oh
really
my
cool.
gosh.
So
isn't
we
it?
That's
just
cool.
set up a second booth at the Bigfoot Festival that's just up for the weddings, and it's a lot of
Wow.
we do a lot of vow renewals and a lot of weddings. So,
Oh, that's cool.
so yeah, and we've got one where they don't want the Bigfoot suit, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's just not as fun when Bigfoot's there. So
When's the Bigfoot Festival?
the Bigfoot Festival is the end of June this year. I believe it's the 26th through the 8th, 28th.
Okay.
It's that last Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So
Where's that at?
down in Flatwoods at
Oh.
Holly Gray Park.
Flatwoods.
Yeah, it used to be downtown Sutton, and it just got to be too big. I think there were 6,600 people that were there
Oh
the
my
last year they did it
gosh.
downtown, and Sutton's just not big enough for that.
Yeah.
So they moved it up to Holly Gray Park last year, and turned it in from 1 day to 3 days, and there were about 20,000 people, I think, came through the door.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
yeah, and as hot as it was
Wow.
last summer.
Wow.
It was amazing to turn out. So, and I think this year's even going to be bigger. They've got some stuff planned, and
Yeah.
more guest speakers and special people coming to hang out. And
Yeah.
That's
Well,
cool.
we're going to go, I believe. I want to go.
We want to.
you
Yeah.
should
Yes.
definitely go. Yeah.
Yes.
We want to start hitting a lot more festivals in West Virginia. Last time when we talked to you, when we came to visit you, you was telling us about other festivals that we never even heard of, and we're like, hey, we got to start hitting some of these festivals.
There's a lot of really good festivals in West Virginia.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing that they do well. There's a lot of unique ones, and there's every county has their own county fair, and then but a lot of them. We go to the Golden Delicious Festival, and that's all about the Golden Delicious apple that's out in Clay. There's the Peach Festival out in the Eastern Panhandle. Then there's like Larch Fest in Philippi, and then there's all the cryptid ones with the Grafton Monster and Veggie Man, Mothman. So there's a lot of festivals that go on throughout the year in West Virginia, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. We don't even probably know like half.
Yeah. Did I miss anything whenever I was listing off all the things you do?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what all we do sometimes, and that's just every time there's a need for something. It's like, can we do that, and can we do it cheaper than everybody else? That's kind of one of the things that we like to incorporate it with that. Like, the weddings, we try to do it half of whatever like a preacher would charge, or an officiant somewhere. So we've done research on prices, and it's nice with the weddings because my wife does pictures for free. So and she's not a professional photographer, but she does a really nice job. So.
Oh, that's so cool.
But yeah, so that's how we got into all that, was just seeing a need for that and saying, hey, we can do it.
I seen that you had the Ramsey Financial Certified. So we've done some of the FPU classes. We've taught some of them. We're a big fan of financial peace and some of that too. So we've got that in common. But that seems to be kind of one of the themes I've seen across some of your work, your stuff you do, your store and everything.
Yeah.
You have a big financial peace kind of vibe to everything.
And I think it's important. We saw it when we first started the business. And there was I think I told you about her the other day, a little girl that lived in the neighborhood, and every day she would come by, and if she could find a quarter, she'd be asking me what she could buy. And I was like, there's got to be better things that you can do with your money. And it's, on one hand, you want people to come and buy stuff, but on the other hand, it's like, stop spending so much. Like, put some away for tomorrow. And so that was kind of one thing we wanted to balance was, we wanted to sell everything at a good price. And what the word we came up with is just a value. And we tell all our local vendors that, like, it's worth it. You know, it's local stuff, and you know, but you just have to make it at a value. You know, you might not sell it for what they'll sell at other places, but you know, we always try to knock some off the top, and then we try to do a lot of the cheaper stuff like the pallets and things like that. So and liquidation. So
that's awesome.
that way we can still save some people some money. But,
Well, this is a good place for it right here, right in this store. We are in the Thrifty Mountaineer in Morgantown, West Virginia, up by the mall. You go to the stoplight and you see the Bigfoot. You turn right.
Turn right at the Bigfoot.
And they got to come check it out. This place is really cool to store. You've got such a good variety of all sorts of different things when I look around.
There is a lot in here.
A lot of unique stuff that you wouldn't find typically in other places around here.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. When I was listing off some of the things that you do, one thing I didn't mention yet, I think you would humbly decline the description of cryptid expert.
Right.
But we can at least say, it's fair to say that you're a cryptid fan, a big cryptid fan. Fair enough.
Yeah, we've really just gotten into that over the last few years since we kind of got into the Bigfoot thing. Kind of happened by accident, but it's just, I don't know. It's kind of taken over. My wife and I both are just kind of like, oh, this is really neat, you know. So it's a lot of fun.
That's the one thing we noticed when we came into the store the first time. Like there's a whole section basically just for cryptids.
It's we even named the bargain bin. It's Bigfoot's bargain bin, you know, and he kind of stands over there to guard, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of it's become a theme, and we really wanted to incorporate that into the store because there's not really anything like that around here. And you know, there's a lot of people that like cryptids, and a lot of people that like UFOs and all of that stuff. So
it seems to me like that stuff's really taken off here recently.
It has. I know the 4-H camp this summer did a cryptid night or a cryptid week, and I think there's a class at one of the high schools around it. They're actually teaching cryptids.
Wow!
So it's a lot of fun. You know, and the kids get into it. The little kids. I mean, little kids like it, and it's not so scary sometimes, but you know they love it. So,
what do you think's causing some of that in West Virginia, particularly? It seems like West Virginia folks are really starting to get into it with the festivals and everything else.
I think it's always like, especially with Bigfoot. I think it's always been here. It's just, you know, people call Bigfoot by different names, and I don't think that everybody kind of put 2 and 2 together that all these different things were Bigfoot. Like there's Stone Man from the Native Americans, and then there's Skunk Ape because apparently Bigfoot has a horrible smell. And then other people just call him Bigfoot or Sasquatch. So Bigfoot's got so many names, and I think now everybody's like, hey, this is the same creature. And you know, and then West Virginia's got a big history with like Mothman and you know, the Snarly Owl and the Eastern Panhandle and the Dogman, and I'm just trying to think of all of them. The Flatwoods Monster down in Braxton County. So West Virginia's got a big history of unusual and creatures.
Yeah, we're getting into it a little bit, but we're most familiar with Mothman. I think a lot of people in West Virginia are. He's kind of like a West Virginia mascot, right?
Yeah.
But some of these others we don't know a whole lot about. So I was just going to ask you about a few of them. I want to start with Bigfoot because that seems to be one of your favorite. I'm guessing.
I think so.
There's a lot of Bigfoot stuff around,
and it's easier to find Bigfoot stuff. You know, and that's a big part of it. Like some of these other guys, they're kind of smaller, but you know, everybody knows Bigfoot and Nessie are the two probably worldwide ones that are the most famous. Although Mothman, we went to a show in New Jersey and didn't take any Mothman stuff because I didn't think they'd know who he was, and they're like, "Where's all the Mothman stuff? You guys are from Western." And I was like, "What?" Like, so learned my lesson. So now I take every cryptid everywhere.
Absolutely. What is Bigfoot's connection with West Virginia?
You know, it's a mountainous area. A lot of places to hide. I think, you know, the Indians, like I said, called him Stone Man because they said they would shoot him with their bow and arrow, and the arrows would bounce off. And there's just a lot of activity around. I mean, some of the people that we get to talk to, you know, regularly, they're Bigfoot researchers around the area. There's a lot of podcasts here, and you know, the focus on Bigfoot, and they go out and, you know, they either prove or disprove, or, you know, maybe not prove, but, you know, they show evidence that something was there and something different was there.
You know a few of those people, I believe, talking with you, some podcasts and different kind of are experts.
Yes, and
so
we've got several of their
chances?
stuff, you know, here in the store.
Oh,
you know,
okay,
they also sell the stuff, and we've got some more. There's another podcast, and they've written some kids books, and I think we're going to have them hopefully here in the next couple weeks.
Oh, that's cool.
Be able to carry their merchandise too.
So based on your conversations with them, what do you think the chances are Bigfoot is here in West Virginia?
I mean, I've never seen one, but there's a lot of compelling evidence, I would say. So
Yeah.
you know, it's really neat. And, just the New River Gorge National Park, that's a whole another conspiracy theory type thing, with the national parks. Teddy Roosevelt, I guess, saw a Bigfoot and created the national park system to try to hide the Bigfoots.
Oh, okay.
And, now they just made New River Gorge a national park, so maybe there was something going
I've
on.
never heard that either.
So
No,
it's there's a lot of really interesting theories and, things like that, so.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. So that's where he's probably at then. Friend or foe, Bigfoot?
I don't know.
Kinda neutral.
Yeah, I'd say kind of neutral. Like, everybody sees Bigfoot like Harry and the Hendersons, kind of, and he's friendly and he moves in. But, one of the stories I recently heard was there was somebody out there camping and getting rocks thrown at him. So Bigfoot obviously just wanted to be left alone. So maybe that's what it is. He just wants to be left alone.
Yeah.
And not
Makes sense.
bothered.
I have
so.
those days.
Sure, yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, let's get to the star, Mothman.
Okay.
Mothman. We know the story a little bit. I think we'll probably go into it in another episode where we kind of talk about it a lot. But just quickly, so that's been a while since
Right.
Mothman was regularly spotted. Do you think Mothman's still around? If he was around then, is he still around?
There's a show on Netflix right now, and it is The Unsolved Mysteries, and they talk about Mothman, and there's been hundreds of sightings in the last 3 to 5 years in the Chicago area. So if something happens up there, then, maybe, but these are like air traffic controllers, and Mothman, there was a black-winged creature that was spotted in the skies around Chernobyl right before it had the explosion out there.
my gosh.
There's sightings all up and down the East Coast. So I don't know if Mothman's still around, but there's something out there that's people are seeing. So I don't know that it was a one-time thing. I think maybe he kind of stuck around. So
So he's not necessarily tethered to West Virginia then.
Yeah.
He's sitting.
Although the original story was Chief Cornstalk down around Mount Pleasant, and the settlers moving in, and there was a whole thing, and the Mothman could that be Chief Cornstalk reincarnated, or how did that work? But that was a pretty interesting story. So
Is Mothman friend or foe?
I think some people look at Mothman as bad, and bad things are going to happen. But I think a lot of people just. Mothman's kind of become like a symbol for love, especially in West Virginia. There's a lot of like Mothman pride things, and so that community kind of feels a connection with Mothman. And so I think there's a lot of love with Mothman, and I think there's also a little bit of fear to go as well. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's pretty popular in West Virginia. So I think a lot of West Virginians kind of taking him on.
Yeah.
We're turning him into a good guy, whether he likes it or not, right?
Yes, and I think one of they always say on West Virginia Day, leave your Mountain Dew out for Mothman. So that's what you're supposed to do the night before. So and pepperoni rolls, Mountain Dew and pepperoni rolls.
Oh my gosh.
So one I'm not familiar with really at all, and I purposely kind of avoided until tonight because I didn't want to spoil anything.
Okay.
But I see it is becoming really popular. I've seen all over the internet, especially like recently.
Okay.
Flatwoods Monster.
Flatwoods Monster. She's really popular. So
I don't know. I don't really know anything about her. So what can you tell us about her?
Back in the 50s, there was in Braxton County, which is about an hour and a half south of here, flashlight across the sky. People went out to see what it was, and there was a red spade-shaped head with a green shroud that was coming at them. Multiple people saw it. They never saw it again. But she's kind of just in the Braxton County lore, and they've got a museum now for her. They've got tons of chairs and things around that are shaped like the Flatwoods Monster. So it's kind of neat how they've just they've kind of run with the cryptid spirit, and they've got the Bigfoot Museum down there, and they've got the Flatwoods Monster Museum, and it's really neat to see. It's kind of their identity.
Yeah. That
Oh yeah, that's right.
See.
The Bigfoot festival's there, and I wonder if that's something to do with her popularity, kind of help.
Yeah,
his
probably
popularity.
part of it. And then the game Fallout 76, of course, was based in
that's
West
right.
Virginia and had a lot of cryptids in it. I've never played it, so I really am not too familiar, but I just knew that was part of it, was the cryptids in West Virginia. And so I think that really got a lot of popularity here in this area too, so with the cryptids.
Friend or foe?
Everybody treats her like she's just, one of us. So I'd say she's got to be a friend.
Yeah, kind of.
She didn't do anything bad while she was here
Exactly.
either. So she just
Right.
kind of came, made her appearance, and said, "Hey, it's me," and then she flew off into outer space or disappeared or, I'm not sure.
Oh, no.
Nope,
Oh my
that
gosh.
Mothman is coming for you.
Yes, Mothman just attacked me, so I guess Mothman didn't like that
That's
answer.
one of my favorite things in this store. That little plushie.
I know,
And
those
this
were-
one
yeah.
is so cute.
We've
love
sold
it.
a lot of those Mothmans, so
Yep.
so yeah, they're cute. They've got the
They
little
are very
ears
cute.
and
Look at that. So
Oh yeah,
cute.
this is definitely the place to come for that kind of stuff.
oh yeah, we've got all kinds of. I'd like to have more Mothman stuff. You just can't find it anywhere, so. We try to get stuff made if we can, and we try to, ask our local vendors to kind of pitch in and make some stuff and just kind of have fun with it. 'Cause that's what we're definitely doing. Like, I mean, I don't know, I just have fun every day. It's, quitting time, and I'm like, oh, I feel like I just got here because I've been having so much fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's just enjoyable.
Yeah.
I even play music I wouldn't listen to on my own, but I'll find myself back there dancing a little bit or singing along with the song sometimes. And I see the customers do it too, and that really makes me happy.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
when I hear them singing in the background, they'll be back in the back, or I'll see the reflection in the door, and they're just kind of doing their thing, and
Aw.
it makes me laugh. And it just that's what we want. We want a place where people can come and be themselves. And a lot of people look at people that believe in Bigfoot and cryptids as they're kind of strange, and they're not. They're just like everybody else. They just happen to want to find Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is the Flatwoods Monster? Is she kind of an alien? Is that
Yeah,
the story
I'd say
there?
alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And has she been spotted again since then? Or is
Not that I know of. Although there was a little girl that comes in here kind of regularly, and she told me the story that she has seen the Flatwoods Monster here in Montague County. And she was out hunting with her dad, and she looked through the scope of the gun, and she said she saw something, and she was doing the whole story, and she's like, I put the gun down and I shook and I looked again. She said, then I wiped my eyes, and she said, I looked again, and I'm like, that's the Flatwoods Monster. And she said, then it disappeared. So I don't know, maybe it's possible that
Yeah.
she's still around. So,
Absolutely.
but yeah, it's fun to hear the kids and their stories, and I love when they're coming in and they talk about it, and I try to figure out which one they like, and it's fun. They get so excited about it. So
That's what that friend or foe question. I was inspired by my daughter when I brought her in here. She asked you that about Mothman because she's just like, well, he's the expert, so I'm going to ask him. So that's what I was like. That's a good question.
I've got
I like
a lot
that
to
question.
learn, but yeah, it's there's definitely people that spend a lot more time on it than I do, but it's just fun to kind of learn about it.
Absolutely.
Really neat. There's things we discover things all over the world every day that we didn't know existed. So maybe one day we'll find a Bigfoot. So
Oh yeah. How about Grafton Monster?
Grafton Monster is 40 minutes away or so. Last year was the 60th anniversary of the sighting of Grafton Monster. So they had their first festival, and they've got a museum now downtown Grafton. And that was a great festival. I mean, the turnout for a first-year festival was so much fun. And
Okay.
unfortunately, we're going to miss it this year because we'll be on vacation because our vacation kind of got rearranged. But I definitely something to go check out because it was a lot of fun. So
So 2024, that was the first year.
yeah, that was
For
the
it.
first year.
When is that one?
That one is like Father's Day, I believe. So it's the
Okay.
middle of June. So we've got a couple big ones right there, in June and July and throughout the summer that are well,
Yeah, that's not far at all from
No.
here. That's
no, it's
quick
just right down the road.
What kind of things do you expect at these festivals? Since we're not familiar with them, like what's it kind of like?
It's hard to describe. I don't know if you've ever been to a Jimmy Buffett concert. Everybody gets drunk and there's never a fight. You see a bunch of happy people. And
Yeah.
normally it's something like that. You'd expect them just at the end of the night, they're tired and they just start,
Yeah.
But that's not what these things are. So these are just people that they go around and they're such a good community and they're close knit and they don't care. We see people dressed in alien with tinfoil on their head. We see people, with, they love showing off their tattoos of Bigfoot and Mothman and they're just, some people are a little bit outrageous. Some people you would never expect them to be into something like cryptids. So there's just such a good variety, and everybody's happy and everybody's together. Because everybody I think is just a little bit weird on the inside, and it's just a good place to come together, and it's kind of neat. So
It's a Grafton Monster. I'm not familiar with him either. Is he friend or foe?
I would say I don't know. He was kind of just that one night thing, and then he disappeared, and there was some matted down grass, but they never did. There were several sightings, but nobody ever found any proof really. But maybe just here, maybe just showed up for a day and then got taken back up to space if that's what it was, or it kind of, it's hard to tell. Hard to say.
Is he the white one, the headless?
Yeah, he's the white one. He's got a head, but it kind of sits like in place of his neck.
Okay.
So yeah, is kind of what they said.
Okay.
And it kind of looks maybe like an old style refrigerator a little bit. And that was one. I think there was one part of the Grafton Monster thing where a lady said she was throwing out a refrigerator, and she thought that was what people saw. But there's big old refrigerators from back in the 60s were I don't know that one person could dispose of that on their own. So
Yep, that's funny. Well, he didn't do any harm, so it might be maybe just shy. It sounds like a lot of them are, I think, just shy.
I think they just they're here, they don't know, maybe they don't know what's going on. So it's just, some could be aliens, some could be, there's some Bigfoot alien theories too. So every time you spot a Bigfoot, he gets zoomed back up into space.
Okay.
That's why you never get to see him. So
we keep doing these festivals, and maybe they'll feel like they can come out and hang out, right?
Yeah. Well, you'll see some people that that'll remind you of Bigfoot, and they do the calls at a lot of them, so that's a lot of fun. The kids get into it, and they always have a Bigfoot calling contest and like a Bigfoot beard contest, and just different, cool. different things. So there's a lot of fun things that go on, and it's just people can go be themselves and enjoy a day, just hanging out with people.
Yeah,
absolutely,
having a good time.
What are some of the others that I'm missing?
Some of the others, in West Virginia, there's, the Snarly Owl out in the East Coast, and that's like an old kind of, I don't know if I'd say folklore, but it's kind of an old German type thing, that and he would pop out with his red or yellow glowing eyes in front of, as people were traveling down the road, he'd jump out and then disappear. And as they look back, they could see him behind him. There's the agua, the agua, I'm not sure. Everybody says it different, so it could be anything. But that's the sometimes two-headed turtle that lives in the Monongahela River. There's stories back to the 1700s. The Holt Farm monster, they call him also. But he ate a kid, I guess, and then eats deer that get too close to the water. And so apparently he's still in there, and there's sightings. The Indians. It was another thing where the Native Americans talked about a two-headed snapping turtle, the giant, oversized two-headed. They kind of maybe had an alligator body. Another one that I just actually learned about this year, and that's the squonk, which is up around the Johnstown area and in Pennsylvania, and the squonk is a lot of fun. It's like a pig that just sees itself, and he thinks he's so ugly that he just cries all the time.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's just, I don't know, it's really like there's so many different things out there, and the Fresno night crawler is real popular. Here, which I wouldn't have imagined, but we got some Fresno nightcrawler stuff in, and it's just people like, oh my god, that's a California cryptid. Jersey Devils and the jackalope. I'm trying to think of some others. Loch Ness monsters. Everybody loves Nessie. So.
Yeah, the Wendigo. Is that how?
Yeah,
it's
the Wendigo.
pronounced?
And we just had a lot of fun. It's Christmas season, so we just had a lot of fun with Krampus over Christmas.
Krampus.
We actually had somebody dress up as Krampus and go down by the road one day and wave at people.
Oh my gosh!
We had Bigfoot and Krampus down by the road, and they were waving. And only one person complained about Krampus being too scary.
Okay. Yeah. Did you have a nice turnout for that stuff?
We did. It was a lot of fun. That was Small Business Saturday, and we wanted to do something. So we like to have fun. We try to get a food truck. We had Bigfoot here. We had our opening day almost a year ago. We had Mothman here. So we try to get characters to come up and do things, and just I don't know. We try to include other people. Like the one thing we did, we had the Girl Scouts came up to sell cookies. And we got this big open parking lot here on Saturdays, and it's just a shame if nobody's using it. So, so it was fun. They got to come up, and they're into that kind of thing too. So so it was fun for them.
Is it fair to say West Virginia is probably like the best state for cryptids, do you think?
I'd say.
Or is that too bold?
I think we probably have the most. I think it probably is.
That's cool.
And we've got a lot of ghosts, and West Virginia's an old state. I mean, I know it's like pretty far down the 35th on the list, but you know, we were here from the beginning, and a lot of people have been here since before America was even a country, and you know, there's a lot of old things that went on, and you know, the Civil War was pretty much fought right here, and so there's a lot of really good history and things like that in West Virginia. So so I think that a lot of those stories come from that. So
we just talked about
that one list. Like it came out like around Halloween, where it was like West Virginia's the #1 like scariest state.
yes, and they had the ghost list, or there was something, the haunted trail maybe of West Virginia, you know, and it was just gave people a whole list, a whole, you know, map that they could follow so they could go out and, and experience all these things. So
we were just talking about the Greenbrier ghost. We did an episode on that. Are you familiar with that one?
Yes, we actually have a book over there about her, but you know,
cool.
that's not one that I'm super familiar with. I know that there was a trial and she somehow convicted her and killed her.
Yes.
But it's much more than that. I'm not as familiar with that one a lot. But
yeah, I'm just curious where you stand on that, because she asked me at the end of that episode. So I was like, what, true or false?
Yeah. It's hard to believe sometimes, but then other times it's just like you just got to believe in something. So it's, you know, like sometimes you just let your guard down and say, hey, man, you know, this could be real.
Possible.
Yeah, very cool. I was wondering if maybe you were up to something. I thought maybe there's like 5 of you because of all the stuff you do, and you travel a lot to get the stuff you sell. We do.
Headed to Baltimore next week to get some items. You know, just because it helps keep the cost down. It's something, if I had it shipped here, it would cost $400 or $500. If I drive out there, it's like $100 of gas. So it's going to help, you know, make sure that we can sell it for the prices that I want to sell it at. So, which I feel are pretty fair. So
you have like your regular kind of travel spots you go to, or you just whatever pops up?
You know, there's a lot of the normal ones. That's definitely the furthest one. But you know, I know that we can get those, and nobody else around here probably will. So that's one of the things I like about going out there to get that, and it turns out to be a pretty good deal for some nice stuff. So
you said earlier that you have a lot of fun. I think that's awesome. Yeah. This whole place feels fun. Like when you walk in, it feels like a fun place. How did this come about? How did you get to this point?
You know, we started out doing the pallets. We'd buy the pallets of liquidated or returned merchandise, and we'd sell them on Facebook. Pallets are fun. You get a lot of stuff that you don't sell, so it just backs up and piles up. And finally, my wife said, the house is full of your stuff. It needs to go somewhere else. And so we ended up getting some property with a building on it out in Cassville. And that was only like, at that point, I was doing a lot of Facebook and eBay, and I was in school. And the point was, I would just run out every night, pick stuff up, and then go home because it was 10 minutes from home. But as we put stuff in there, the people around the Cassville area and the western end started being like, hey, what's this? So they started coming and shopping. And it was like, never meant for this to be a store, but hey, we'll go with it, you know. And it was a nice place. It wasn't super busy, so I would just take my homework out there and do my homework while I was sitting out there. And if somebody showed up, they could buy stuff. And then it just kind of grew to where, you know, that place started getting full, and I saw other people. I met people that sold on the side of the road, so we went out and did that. And then this year we decided that we were gonna I'm getting a little older and had an injury, and I couldn't do that as much. And so we decided if we wanted to keep going with this, then we were gonna need some place to sell it all. And Cassville, we couldn't get people to go out to Cassville, and as much as I miss Cassville, you know, this is kind of our home now, I guess. So, so it's I'm not out in the country getting scared by turkeys when they go flying over the hill. Or, you know, Saturday mornings hearing a bunch of gunshots. It's you know, it's, you know, we're in town now, but it's still good. We still get a lot of people that come in here from there, and then we've gotten to meet all these new people that, you know, are here in town. So.
Yeah, how did you get into it to begin with? Like, what made you even get into like pallets and
the pallets? That was just kind of a bridge after I'd gotten laid off. You know, I was in a retraining program, and we really couldn't work. I mean, we were allowed so many hours a week, but it was just kind of hard. So this was kind of an under the table thing. A friend told me about and said, "Hey, you ought to try this," and just kind of got hooked. I mean, it's very addictive. It's easy to keep on buying pallets and inventory and merchandise, but
that's how I feel about my shop. It's like addicting.
Yes,
it is.
Oh, I love buying. I see stuff that I think is going to be cool for people, and I'm like, I want to get that, you know. And stuff that I remember when I was a kid, like, I mean, we got all the pranks and the games and magic tricks and stuff. That was a big part of when I was a kid, you know, before we had phones and TVs and even, I mean, my daughter doesn't believe me, but we almost never watched TV. Like, I mean, you'd go in the evening, maybe watch a show or something, but we were outside playing and doing all these crazy things. And so there's a lot of it's just kind of like things that I remember, and that's what we kind of wanted. You know, it's a lot of West Virginia type stuff too. So,
Oh yeah.
so we wanted to tie it into.
I see a
we do.
lot of West Virginia stuff in here. You got the Bigfoot on West Virginia shirt right there.
Yeah. She makes some really cool designs. So she had one at Halloween, and it said "Trick or treat, smell my feet," and it was Bigfoot. So,
Yeah.
and he was all dressed up like a ghost. So she makes some awesome. She's from out in Pinterest. You know, out on the western end. So she's really nice. She's got a lot of great products. She's got the earrings and the tumblers and the shirts.
Yeah, I
And,
like
Okay.
so
Yeah.
we try to only have one vendor for each type of item, you know, because I don't want them to compete against each other. You know, I want everybody to make something, and it's confusing. First, you know, if we have 3 people that do T-shirts, it's going to be, you know, whose is this when I go to ring it in, you know. But yeah, it's interesting, and there's so many talented people out there that just, I don't know, everything on the shelf is just somebody's got a talent and they took advantage of that, and you know, are trying to, you know, even make it a little bit. That's what I tell people. You know, maybe you'll get a check for $20, maybe you'll get a check for $100 at the end of the month, but you know, it's just more than you had, and you don't have to do any work. Like, we just get to sit in here and sell it, and I get to talk about it and learn about it, and that's, you know, that kind of fulfills those needs for me too. So.
Yeah, that's something I thought was pretty neat. So you have, like, I guess what you would call like the thrift items, and then you have vendors that have a lot of unique stuff
Yes.
that they're providing, and probably not selling very many places. I'm thinking probably pretty much here, and then all the cryptid stuff. What other vendors? We'll show some of this. But what else do you have?
You know, Tammy, one of the research Bigfoot researchers, she makes the coffee cups. We've got a pottery, John Lilly from Preston County. He was the pottery teacher up there, and he's got some of his pottery in here. And it's, you know, it's kind of abstract. It's really neat, like that he made all that stuff. ABN Laser Designs, I mean, they do a lot of the signs and designs and the flasks. Those are a really popular item. 3D Cauldron is probably one of our biggest. They're from Grafton. And he's got 100 3D printers that he runs pretty much nonstop. But I think he wants to add more.
Wow.
And, you know, he's just, it's really fun. People really react to that. And so they do a lot of cryptid, Fallout, dragons, axolotls, things like that. You know, we got Mean Bee Apiary over by the stadium. She's got 4 hives over there and makes the honey. And that was something I've always wanted to do, because honey and West Virginia kind of go together, and I've learned so much. Like, I know the jar that we have up there now is darker because it's fall honey, and the bees eat different things in the fall than they do in the spring, so it changes the color of the honey when it comes out. And there's just things that I've learned, and she's got the wax food covers. You know, they come from beeswax, and they're reusable, and you can use them a couple times, and just they use all the parts of the hives. And I'm trying to think. We've got a candle vendor over there, Wicked Candles, where she's from here in Westover, and then you know, Oopsie Daisy by Tootsie. I'm probably missing somebody, so I feel bad, but yeah. So we have a lot of you know, we saw the CBD up there. It comes from Brewston Mills, and they've got a great story. You know, they started the CBD for their daughters who have a rare brain disease, and that's why they started making the CBD, and they've turned it into a business now. And so we're one of the places that carry their product. And, you know, a lot of that stuff is natural too. We really like that because you know, I remember growing up and thinking all the things that my mom would like shove down my throat that weren't like pills. You know, and when I always think of this one. When I got poison ivy, she would put cream of tartar paste in water and shake it up, and it was the worst stuff ever. But you know, the poison ivy didn't itch. So it was just one of those kind of old Appalachian type things.
Oh, that's neat.
You know, and so we're really kind of getting
trying to bring it back a little bit. Some of that kind of got lost in the modern times. And it still works.
And we have a lot of people, you know, we've got some like books and things about natural products and like mushroom honey and you know, different herbs and even a little bit of witchcraft, which, you know, it's not about turning princes into frogs. It's, you know, when you sit there and make a potion, it's so you can heal yourself. So we've had a lot of response to that. So we're kind of adding to that area too, you know, so people can go out, and it's calming excuse me, like the runes and the crystals and things like that, and just helps people feel at peace. And I think a lot of that you can't really do that with pills and medicine. So if you use the natural stuff, that's what we kind of like.
Yeah, something I've seen a lot on your Facebook posts that looks like it's a big hit anyway is those, what do you call them, the
gibbets?
Gibbets.
Yeah, they're shoe charms, and I can't say what brand they are because the police from that brand will come and get you because they've got everything trademarked.
Okay.
But we just call them gibbets or shoe charms, and I mean, I'm in there, so I don't even know how many there are anymore.
Yeah, tons.
They're always a popular thing at festivals when we go, and the kids. We took them up to the flea market. We used to do that all the time, and the kids would come through and they'd pick them out, and they were like, you need this. And so I'll keep a list throughout the year, and we just got finished ordering them, and, we've got, I think, all the major sports teams, and I don't even remember. There's so many of them.
Oh, yeah.
But it's fun because, just people, it's another way people can express themselves. They put the things on the holes of their shoes, and they get to tell their story, and maybe they're not good at, like, going out and speaking or doing... talking to people, but that's different people have different ways of expressing themselves and communicating, and that's one thing I really like. Like the kids will pick them out, and some kids will spell their names, or some kids will, I love ducks, or I want the cow, or they want different things, and so we've always tried to make sure that we have a big selection.
Oh yeah, I know when my kids came in, they were definitely filling up the bag each.
And I don't know. I mean, that what we have now would take up a whole festival space, so I don't know if we'll have to start doing 2 spaces a year at each festival, or if we'll just maybe take some and not the others. So we'll have to figure that out as once it warms up a little bit and we get back into the festivals. So
speaking of ads, I think we saw a few around town.
Yeah,
You've got the Mothman.
Yeah, we got the Mothman on the bridge.
I love that.
Yeah, that just kind of got lucky. The guy that the rep for the billboard company just happened to stop in one day, and we were talking. He's like, "You ever think about doing billboards?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't think I can afford it." And he's like, "Well, I got a deal for you," because it was right before political season. And he's like, "You can get this one for like the next so many weeks for this cost." And I was like, "That is a good deal." So we did it, and I said, "I want the Mothman." We said we want the Mothman up there because that'll be something that nobody else has.
Yeah.
And just, I've never seen. People say, "Oh, we heard your ad on the radio," or "Oh, we saw the." People were seeing that billboard over on the Star City Bridge, and they were coming directly to the store, and they're like, "We just saw your billboard. We wanted to see what this was about." And I was like, "I've never, I don't know. Maybe food companies like restaurants or convenience stores, you see theirs, and it's like, oh, I'm hungry, or oh, I need gas, so I'll stop at this exit." But like for some people to come here, it's been such a great response, and that's we've had a lot of fun with it, and we just after that political season, we were like, let's keep on doing it. So we've got him for the next year, and we're gonna keep Mothman up there.
There you go.
Some form of Mothman. We'll change it every 3 or 4 months probably, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
People will know of that when they cross the bridge. They'll be seeing Mothman.
Yeah, the Mothman's protecting that bridge. So for your friend or foe question, that's a friendly Mothman.
I gotta be honest. I didn't pick it up the cleverness at first when I saw them up there on the billboard. I didn't put it together.
Kind of accidental, and then we realized, oh man, we just put the Mothman on the bridge. Like that was the worst thing we could have done. But people seem to really like it and appreciate it. So we're going to keep him there.
There for next year. They're definitely gonna.
Yes.
People will probably start putting it together.
Yeah, and it's a lot of, I like billboard ads. I mean, there's something you don't see anymore, or you see them, but you see so many of them, and we just wanted something that was going to stand out.
And it
I think Mothman does that. So
yeah, it does.
So it's a lot of fun. But.
Yeah. So we talked about most of the store. I think a lot of the parts. Was there anything else that you want to talk about in the store particularly?
Yeah, I mean, it's always changing. With liquidation, you never know what you're going to get. I mean, it's just there's a deal out there, and you think you can do that, then you buy it. And that's kind of you never know what to expect. I know when I go to the eBay things, I always put just a little bit of everything on my name tag, and people like that. So it's kind of funny. They're like, "What do you sell?" A little bit of everything. And they're like, "Oh yeah, well, what's a little bit of everything?" And they're not expecting when I just can go on for an hour and talk about the different things, but. The one of the things we've gotten into is the antique and vintage. I love old books. I'm an old English nerd, and I just love the old books. I love selling the old books on eBay. And then some of them, they're just not valuable enough to go on eBay, so we put them back there and do them pretty cheap, like for $1 for a hardback, 50 cents for a paperback. And I've got a guy that comes in here every week or so on his break when he's in this part of town, and he'll go back there and he's back there reading a book, and then he comes up and we talk for a few minutes. He's like, all right, I gotta go back to work.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun. There's, you know, another bookstore in Morgantown is closing, so it's, you know, but these aren't, we have new books, but then those are kind of the fun ones that we just don't know where we're going to find. And the antiques are just, you know, that's another thing that's, I think West Virginia has, you know, it's probably like a natural resource because people have so much old stuff in their house. And they just don't realize how valuable it might be, or maybe they're afraid to use the internet to try to sell it, or afraid of getting scammed, you know, for whatever reason. But, you know, there's so much stuff out there that people from all over the world want. I mean, we ship everywhere through eBay, and it's, you know, and that's one thing that I wish people would understand, you know, like as a, you know, financial coach, one of the first things to do is like, well, what can you sell? You know, you say, surely you've got something in your house you can sell. And like so many people have so much stuff. And I really think that, you know, that's one of the things we work on with eBay is trying to get more people to use it. Because we feel like that could be a wealth builder, or at least, you know, something to get you a little bit of extra money. You make a couple thousand a year pretty easily, I think, on eBay. And, you know, that's vacation money. Or, you know, it's just, or it helps pay the bills, or, you know, there's a lot of stuff. And it cleans out your house and gives you a little peace of mind. And, you know, I know there's things people get attached to, but it's really, I think something that West Virginia kind of, you know, we're in a bad economic state sometimes with, you know, a lot of, you know, low income. And I think that that's something that could really help people. So, you know, that's one of the things that we'll be working on. That you ask if there's anything else. That's something that I will be working on very actively with eBay the next year or so.
Okay.
So that's something that we're going to get into. So, trying to encourage and work on some government relations type stuff. So
Okay.
That's a lot of. That's going to be another fun thing. But
Okay. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I joined the government relations team at eBay. As a small business ambassador, and basically we're going to try to maybe work on some of the regulations and things that prevent people from selling online, or and you know, it's also trying to, you know, erase some of the stigma of like, oh, if I sell it online, then I have to do this and this, and a lot of those things aren't really true, but you know, people have been told that forever, and so that's one of the things eBay, I think, wants to work with. eBay's really great. There's things they do bad, but they're really great at, you know, trying to make a big community of sellers and try to like coach people and make sure that, you know, everybody is building each other up to make it the best marketplace. And so that's really something that I was kind of interested in. They ask if, you know, we've done some things with eBay before, and I think that that's going to be good. And we're also starting the eBay community page, which I still need to get. You know, it was a lot more work than I thought, and it's just kind of with Christmas season. But now I'm, you know, in the next few weeks we're going to be coming out with that. We've got our own page on eBay for people in this region to communicate with each other, and you know, we'll try to meet up maybe quarterly or however much people want to meet up. We can do it. You know, go to lunch, but we can help each other. You know. Sell things on eBay.
You were giving some financial advice there about joining eBay, and that was kind of your thing too. You have some of that on Facebook too, right? You have some groups that try to help people save money and think of ways to do that.
Yeah, and that's, you know, I don't know. There's just, you know, $13.87 a day is $5,000 a year. You know, so if you go out to eat and can cut that out. You know, I have this little thing with the hot dog place down the road, and that was $10 a week because I would only go on Mondays. And I looked at it and I was like, $10 a week for a whole year, that's $500. That's quite a bit of money. You know, so and if I can cut that out, then you know, if I cut something else out, you know, so my wife and I have really been working on a lot of the Ramsey stuff, and it just stuff maybe you're afraid to do, or you know, it seems overwhelming, but when you start looking at it just little by little, and you know, places that you can save. I mean, if you can save, you know, buy generic food at the grocery store instead of the name brand, you know, you could probably cut your grocery bill in half. You know, there's a lot of things that people can do. Just, you know, $50 here, $100 here, it adds up. And I think that's, you know, and then you can kind of go proactive and maybe sell a little bit of stuff and you know, do that. So
what kind of services do you offer as a financial coach? Because I think some people don't really understand that,
Yeah.
right? They think it's kind of like stock advice, but it's not.
Right,
Not
right,
really
and,
that,
and
right?
that's one thing you're not allowed. I can't give financial advice. One of the big things is trying to create a budget and get people to budget their money, because it's so hard when you're just throwing money at things and you don't know where your money's going.
Yeah.
So you give your money a name and you tell it where to go, and then your money's working for you and you are in control of the situation. The other thing is just paying down debt. And that's one of the Ramsey things is the debt snowball. So you start with your smallest and you pay it off. And when you pay it off, it doesn't mean you get all that extra money. You put it towards something else.
Right.
Then you pay off the next one. And then you're just slowly paying all these things off till you're debt free. And there's steps forward, backwards. So the coach is kind of the person that maybe pushes you forward, but, holds you back when you need to, I think of my physical therapist, she pushes me some days, but other days she's like, you've had a rough week. I can tell your muscles are tight, so you need to back off a little bit. And I think that's what your role as a coach, a financial coach is, just kind of make sure they're keeping their eye on the prize. And, a budget's like a map, and it's just saying, here, this is where I want to end up, and this is how I'm going to get there, So it's a lot of fun. I just love money too. I love everything. I love so many things, but I just love money and how it works, and trying to get in control, because I've been in situations where I've had credit cards that I didn't know how I was, and the phone would ring and I didn't want to answer because I thought it was one of those credit card people that were going to yell at me, and but you can get on top of that. You just have to someday say, I'm just tired of this, and
Yeah, it seems to me like you love community. It seems like because you're doing these things like financial advice and bringing fun in the form and trying to help people save money.
And I think that's such an important part of small business. It's just like you've got the big stores around, and I mean I look out every day and see the bigger stores, but they're not the ones. I don't want to call any of them out, but they're not the ones. Like, people come and they'll ask you for a sponsorship. People come and ask you, if you can make a donation. People come and do this, and these big companies, they wouldn't even talk to them. I know they do a lot of things on their own, but they don't always connect with the community.
Right.
And so I think that's what's important. And the community's the ones that come in here and support me, and I definitely want to make sure that I give back to them and do as much as I can. And we try to put, and it's unique too, because we can put a Bigfoot in a gift basket or something that people are going to raffle off, and it's a lot of fun because they're like, oh, Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And those are typically ones that get a few more tickets, at a raffle than the others. So,
we love it. It's very inspiring. I know
for sure.
when we kind of discovered your story, that kind of inspired us because we wanted to talk about good things, positive things in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the big things that inspired us.
There's a lot of good things going on.
Absolutely.
And, one of our things from before, we always said, when you do good things happen. And I think that's kind of, you got to remember that everything you do, and just try to treat people. There's a preacher on one of the radio shows on Sunday morning, and he always says, be better. And it's like, you get mad at something, or something's not going your way, and you're like, all right, take a deep breath and just be better than that. And and that's something I always try to remember too. And I think that's
good advice.
That's really
very good
important.
advice.
So
yes.
Did you have any questions?
I don't think so. I just have liked this conversation.
It's been a good conversation.
I know
Really
you're such a cool and interesting person.
Thanks. My
love
daughter
it.
wouldn't say that at all, but
Well, I'm glad we've met you.
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I like what you guys are doing and trying to promote West Virginia. And
We
I
appreciate
think
it.
that it's getting better. Like, people are changing the stereotypes and things like that. I know the tourism department's been doing a great job with that stuff, but it's going to take more than just a state-run agency to go out and do that. Like, it's going to take people going out and talking about West Virginia. And,
Yeah.
sharing their stories and showing all the cool things that there are. I mean, there's not really a place where you can, we can be at the beach in a couple hours, or, we can be in a major city in an hour, and, we can be in the middle of nowhere where nobody will ever find you in minutes, So it's just so much different things, and anything you want to do, you can do right here.
That's why the cryptids love it so much.
Yeah, they can just hide. And nobody will find them. So.
Yeah.
Well, we got a 3D printer for Christmas. We're not near as good as the stuff over there, but I'm enjoying it. So one of the things we wanted to do was make something for any guest we have. So of course we had to go with Mothman.
With the Mothman, that's awesome. No, that's a good one.
A little gift for you.
That's I like it. This stuff, it just blows my mind how this works. Like,
I know.
I don't understand it. And I tell people that all the time. I'm like, I can't wrap my head around the fact that you're printing something, because for me it's print on paper.
Yeah.
But and you make it with moving parts, and like it's really cool how that all works. Thank you guys.
Yep, you're very welcome.
We'll put him up front and tell people to watch
that's
watch
awesome.
your podcast. So.
Well, you were our first guest, so
Cool.
we appreciate you. And
Cool.
I think
I set the bar pretty low for the next one. So.
no, you said it very high.
Not, yeah.
Very interesting. It's gonna be hard to beat. So
Good. Well,
yeah, we thank you and
thank you guys.
and
Glad we got to do this.
Yes.
yeah.
And good luck with your podcast, and I hope it continues to grow. You guys should definitely watch this. Well, you're already watching, so I know I'm going to share it on my Facebook page, and I've shared. The other day we shared some stuff too. So I think it's good. Just to get out and talk about West Virginia and how good it is. So.
Good stuff. Man. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Yep. All right.
Thank you. We hope you enjoyed our very first interview with Jeremy Maddox of the Thrifty Mountaineer.
Yeah. And if you love West Virginia as much as we do, be sure to tell your friends and share and like and all that good stuff.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks.